Hey everybody, it's Bill Cecil again with your tip for the day. Hey, today I want to talk about turning your students into a group or a winning team. In fact, by now hopefully you've heard me talk a little bit about how teachers are leaders with teams to lead. Obviously your students are going to be your team, and what I want to do is turn that group of students into a winning team. Now, to adopt the team attitude, I want to give you a couple things to think about to help maybe get you excited about doing this and see why it's important to see your kids as a team instead of just a group of individuals. The first one comes from I got a statistic from the Michigan State Police Department. I was doing some work with their officers that were going into the schools that needed some management tips, and they gave me a statistic to share with educators that I think is very important. And the statistic is that in the year 1965, the average amount of time that parents could interact with their kids during the week, the average amount of time per week was 30 hours per week in 1965. By the year 2000, it dropped to 38 minutes. 38 minutes by the year 2000. Now, that was 10 years ago. Here it is 2010. Can you imagine how much more it's dropped? And I'm not pointing fingers at parents, believe me. If you have an economy like we do in Michigan right now, parents are doing everything they can just to go out there and try to make ends meet, trying to put a roof over their kids' head, try to keep them dressed, try to keep food on the table. But my fear is that many of our students are going home to empty homes. And they might be turning on the TVs or playing their video games or texting. But my fear is that we might be raising a society of lost souls. Now, of course, that's a gross overstatement to say, oh, kids are going home to empty homes and we have a society of lost souls. Of course, I don't mean that. But even if it's a small population, isn't that too many? The other example also comes from the law enforcement agency. It comes from the DARE program. I had a DARE officer in my classroom a few years ago working with my 5th graders on the anti-violence part of the DARE program, and he was talking about how kids around the country, specifically here in Lansing, join gangs. And what he told my kids is that when a kid wants to join a gang, they get the gang members that are already in the gang into a circle. The person that wants to come into the gang has to go into the circle, and for 10 minutes straight, the gang members are allowed to hit, spit on, sexually violate, anything they want to do to the person inside the circle. They can violate them for 10 minutes straight, and the kid in the circle can't fight back at all. They have to put up with it. And at the end of 10 minutes, if they can somehow crawl out, stagger out, somehow get out of that circle without being injured, they're in. And once they're in, they're treated like royalty. Now, I had a hard time believing this, and I remember questioning the DARE officer saying, come on, this can't be true. I don't believe this could happen. He said, oh, Bill, it's true. He said, look at the gang problem we have around the country. It's an epidemic. And I said, but I can't imagine any kid in their right mind getting inside that circle knowing this is going to happen to them. I said, why would they do it then? What would motivate them to get inside that circle? He said, Bill, so many kids are so desperate just to want to belong to something that they're willing to go into this situation, knowing that even once they're in, they're still running the risk of getting hurt or even killed. You know, adults aren't much different. If you think about it, adults are very fascinated with sports. We follow sports like it's almost like a religion in this country. We either follow our favorite teams, or we even play on rec teams, or we do both. Many people like to join churches, organizations, clubs. And maybe a big part of that is because we all like to feel like we're a part of something bigger than ourselves. We like to feel like we're a part of something special. It allows us to go off and do our individual things, but still come together and be a part of something bigger than ourselves. I think that's what's great about teaching, is that we are given the opportunity, if not the responsibility, to create a positive, safe learning environment in our classrooms where individuals can come together and be a part of something bigger than themselves. And what I'm hoping is that you'll adopt this team philosophy with your team this year and take this to a new level with your kids. Bringing them together to be about something. Give them that opportunity to be a part of something larger than themselves as they strive to become the best they can be. Hey, you can do this. And remember, best year ever. You have the power to make it happen.